EFL referees are an absolute disgrace. Talking about Bradford City's referees that we've had from the first 14 games of the season. We're not dissecting everyone, we're only going to talk about the bad ones. Although I'll get it in right now, just to get it out of the way. Gillingham, Ross Joyce, he's the best referee we've had this season by a country mile. Let the game flow, had a good understanding of the game of football, and a standout referee for me. So yes, he's been the best referee. He gets the praise. I will praise them, but we're here to criticise referees as ever, because that's all everyone does, and there's good reason for it. They're absolute prats. They're idiots. And Graham Alexander today has been fined £1,600. It's probably about the going rate for managers getting fined because they've said the referee had a bad game today, which is diabolical in itself. About the referee Lewis Smith after City's defeat against Walsall last month. Absolute ridiculous. That referee cost us the game. I think we lost 2-1. Richard Moore would give a penalty away when he won the ball in the penalty area. They scored from it. Yes, there were points in the games that we should have done better with, but he also gave a free kick from which they went and scored from, which were never a free kick as well. Other decisions in the game that he didn't give our way, and Alexander's been fined mainly, I think, because he called him that he was biased to the home fans or whatever, but favouring the home side with his decisions. But maybe he was. But whether it's home side or not, he gave them the decisions. He didn't give us them. More importantly, like I say, the penalty and then the free kick that led to their goal. We weren't good enough anyway in that game, but it's happened far too often already this season. So let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Get straight into it after this. Ailey Pierce has messaged me on LinkedIn seeking a competitive edge or marketing strategy. She's probably wrong, and I've had a few wrong uns. Madeline Hill, she seemed a bit of a wrong one. They might not be, they might be fine, but I've fallen for that on Facebook the other day. Can you name the number that's missing apart from 529 or whatever it was? I go, oh, found one. I put it in the comments. I didn't actually read that you win £800, which was far too far-fetched, and I said, is this real to someone who knew the person? It's like, no, they've probably been hacked. Don't accept it. So I was probably a bit thick there, but I wasn't thinking straight. Yes, let me leave links in. What are you doing for Halloween? Are you trick-or-treating? Are you keeping a door shut and sitting in a dark room? Not because you're depressed, just because you don't want to interact with people and give them your hard-earned money and sweets and chocolate. Now, it's up to you. Are you watching a crazy horror movie? Or are you going out for a few pints in Bradford? Now, hopefully you are, because if you are, go to the Exchange Craft Beer House. I think... Well, I've been in there before. It's a lovely little pub in Bradford. And Bontempi Love Organ is live there with DJs. Now, this is 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock. He's a Bradford-based electronic music artist. And DJ Danny Mundella will also be hosting the evening with Bontempi Love Organ. Starting with chilled, blissed out beats, followed by an electric live set from BLO Bontempi Love Organ. Before DJ Danny Mundella wraps things up with a selection of 90s to 2000 deep house and vocal house hits. That is on Market Street, 31st of October, 8 o'clock to 11 o'clock. Get yourself down. Bradford based, but ad archive. You've probably seen him in the comments, you probably interact with him. He's a fantastic viewer and commenter of mine, and he's asked me to shout his mate out, which pleasure's all mine. So go get yourself down, support him, and he could really do with the support, and he'd be thrilled if he can get any of yous down. So if you're in town, just pop in for a pint, pop in for a little drink, and soak in this great music whilst you're down there as well on Halloween night. Now let's get into some scary referees, because we've got some absolute shockers to talk about. Like I've already touched on the Walsall game, we had a shocking referee who basically cost us the points in that one. We've given away a penalty that were never a penalty. We also had, I'll take you back to Salford, the first big refereeing mistake of the season for us. What happened in that one? Well, there was a goal and he didn't give it. It went right over the line. Andy Cook would have won that 1-0. That's 3 points robbed. And clearly, it's not contentious. It's not opinionated. That is a fact. It was clearly over the line. We've all seen it. I'm not going to go on and dwell on it because we've all seen it. Cheltenham, another one that comes to mind. Lewis Richards gets fouled in the penalty box. I will watch a match of the day on Sunday morning. I see Brentford v Ipswich, and a penalty gets given, I think for Brentford, gets pulled down outside the penalty box. He keeps going. The pulling keeps continuing in the penalty box, and he comes down in the penalty box. Yes, VAR, the referee didn't give it previously, VAR give it, but that says to me that the referee should have give it, because the rule book clearly states that should have been a penalty. So that shows that was a clear robbing of a penalty on Lewis Richards. Again, costing us 3 points in that one, albeit 2 because we did draw. Wimbledon, what a prep we had for Wimbledon. Joe Adams, injured. He came on at half time for Lewis Richards, and then he had to come off in the 63rd minute. Only got 15 minutes because I can't remember who it was for him. It might have been, it can't have been Furlong because he came on in the 81st minute. Whoever it was for Wimbledon, karate kicked Joe Adams in the penalty box, brought him down. He's done his ACL. I don't know how it wasn't given as a penalty kick, and I don't know why nothing's really been said of it afterwards, because that's injured our player for the season. He won't play again for Bradford. It's altered his career, but that again, it's 2 points that could have been dropped if we scored the penalty, because it was a clear and obvious mistake that the referee should have seen. He didn't have a bad angle of it either, and Wimbledon didn't even have a shot on target in that game. I mean, it was a boring game, but yeah, I feel like they won at Grimsby, but I think we were just terrible against Grimsby, so I might be wrong. It's all off my memory, and I haven't got a good memory, so they're big decisions that have gone against us in major games, and I wouldn't say it's even its way out. I wouldn't say we've had any lucky decisions. The only one I can think of is Bromley. Their player gets sent off on the line, and it's the same goal line that we scored against. Went over the line against Salford. You know, is that a bit of it's even its way out if the referee didn't see that and didn't give it then? But it were clear and obvious one. You know, if you can't see that the Bromley player handballed that, so I think that's clutching at straws to try and, you know, stand up for referees. So yeah, we haven't even its way out yet, and far from it, and it's getting worse, the officiating, and we're seeing this consistently, and I'm seeing loads of decisions go against other clubs as well, up and down the pyramid, and it's shocking, it's shambolic, and the fact that Graham Alexander's getting fined for it, for calling it out, for saying it as it is, he's obviously had a chance started as well. Graham's right, the refs, you can rhyme that and put it together yourself, and you know, I think a 4-year-old would have known what I was saying there. It's absolutely right, and like I say, it's just a shambles. It's a shambles. In a shambles, it's a shambles. So there you go. That's the mistakes that I can remember from my memory. Now let's just see what the TNA actually put together to say about this Alexander fine that he's been having then, because Alexander he has admitted to an FA charge of acting in an improper manner and or using insulting words during his post-match interviews by making comments that implied bias and or questioned the integrity of a match official. Now, it could have been doubled, that fine, if he didn't do that, because obviously he said the words, he can't go back on them, so he probably, you know, he's just doing it for his own good there, but I hope he doesn't continue to call referees out, because, like I said, they're a disgrace, and he was absolutely right with his words that he said in that game, because it had cost us, although I do think there were probably worse refs, maybe the Wimbledon one, who also, in that game, did a massive brawl, and we got fined for it, which is a disgrace in itself, where, you know, a Wimbledon player, it's all coming back to me, a Wimbledon player had their hands around Jack Shepherd's throat, I believe it was, and nothing got happened, and I think Shepherd got booked for it. Ridiculous. The Bantam's chief was furious with Smith's performance, favouring the home side. He said afterwards, "Fine, if you're going to give free kicks, then give them against both teams. You have to be the same, but it was just one-way traffic. We got nothing in 50-50 duels. Both teams had a big striker. One was allowed to compete, the other one wasn't, so it was quite consistent throughout the game. Wigan official Smith booked 5 City players compared to the 1 for Walsall, and Colin Doyle also got booked in that game. Alexander sent a letter of mitigation to the FA's disciplinary hearing, and City also compiled a video of potential refereeing errors, but the clips were not considered as relevant to the charge by the panel. Of course they don't. And can I remind you that the head of referees didn't even bother to turn up at the recent referees meeting. Alexander came out and said, didn't he, a couple of weeks ago, that's how much they care about the pits in the EFL and League 2. Absolutely absurd stuff that was. The commission ruled that Alexander's post-match media reaction had strayed well beyond that of legitimate comment and into improper conduct. I mean, if he's talking about his wife and kids, that's where it's got a bit bad. But to not be able to criticise a referee after a game is absolutely ridiculous. Because managers get sacked, players get sacked, I come on here, criticise the manager, criticise the player, because they haven't done well enough. They haven't performed to the standards that they should perform. Everyone's allowed to call that out, because that's what we pay for our tickets. The managers get sacked if a refereeing decision goes against them, but referees get away with it. You can't even call them out for it. You get fined. It's ridiculous. But they accepted the mitigating circumstances that it was the first time that he had faced such a change in his entire career as a player and manager. I must be on about Alexander. The ruling added, having considered the specific comments made in our judgment, they are not the worst example of their type. We note that he was interviewed very soon after the conclusion of the fixture, when he was unable to contain himself. There is genuine remorse, the behaviour is out of character, and from what Alexander says, he will take the appropriate steps to prevent this repeated behaviour. I don't want to hear that. Graham, you won't be watching, but if you are, or your wife's watching, or your mum, or your dad, or your brother, or your sister, or any relative who can contact Graham Alexander, please tell him not to. You'll get the buy-in from the fans. You might lose a bit of money, but who cares? You probably earn a bit, don't you? I'm joking. Everyone's got a rage. £3 bus charge. What's all that about? Moving on. Don't change the way you are. Don't change, and that goes for anyone. Don't change who you are for anybody. Be who you are and believe in that. Alexander, if a referee has a bad performance, you call it out, like I will, because it's a disgrace that it keeps happening, and it's always happened for years against us, and he's the only one who's had the balls to call it out. Meanwhile, City were made to pay £2,250 for failing to control their players in the Wimbledon game. Absolute ridiculous that was, because our players got strangled. Yeah. A melee broke out in the first minute of added time after Smold went in with a strong challenge, which was a fair challenge. Players from both teams confronted Andy Davies, booking 2 bookings from each side. Wimbledon got a higher fine. So there you go. I've said my bit on the referees. It's an absolute disgrace. They need sorting out. They're not going to get sorted out because the referees association can't even turn up. The referees can't turn up for the referees meeting with the League 2 managers, which is fine because they don't care about League 2. But when our managers come out and call the referees out for having a terrible performance, getting our players injured, missing out on penalties, missing out on goal line goals that cross the line, it's all fine. Alexander can keep getting fined, can't he? Ridiculous. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. Check out the exchange on Thursday night where Bontempi Love Organ it will be playing. Thank you very much for watching. Like the video if you did. Subscribe if you're new on the road to 700 subscribers. Have a good one.